Okay, hi again. I'm back with another Twitch stream. I'm not very consistent at the moment, so I don't have a schedule for streaming. You might have seen that if you've been following or seeing, but I do try to give a notification on my Instagram every time I start. I'm leaving my Instagram around in my Twitch page, so you can see it if you want to. Okay. So, what am I gonna be doing today? Okay, sorry. It says like I'm not connected, but I can see my screen. I can see my screen. It seems like it's reproducing. Yes, okay. Okay, so what am I going to be doing today? I want to do some Arcane Fanart. I think I said it in before, in streams I've done before. I was finishing watching it before I actually jumped ahead and do it. So, a little bit of thoughts and my thought process. What I'm gonna, well, before I get into another thing. What I'm gonna be doing today is I'm gonna be showing you a bit about my thought process. I've already done the initial sketches and I've already had initial ideas. So I already have an idea to go with, but I want to show you where it came from and that part of it, because I know some people don't really know how to do this or are very new to it maybe. And obviously it's just about practice. Like, you don't really draw from imagination. You need some visual reference, you need to learn a bit, you need to, I don't know, practice, I guess. um, so okay, about Arcane. So I was thinking, oh, hi there. Okay, I'm not sure. No sé si eres española, así que si no te digo hola en español, no estoy segura, lo digo por tu nombre. A veces voy en bilingüe, otras veces solo lo hago en inglés. Así que, bueno, si estás por aquí, hablo en ambos idiomas. So I'm going to quickly explain in Spanish what I'm going to be doing in this chat, just for those who might jump in and are from Spain. Verás, lo que vamos a hacer hoy es... Voy a empezar a hacer un poco de fanart de Arcane. Y ya lo había dicho en un par de vídeos anteriores. Lo que pasa es que tengo una convención en febrero, la Japan Weekend, y estoy haciendo un poquito de fanart para llevar. Así que, bueno. Bueno, mejor. Pero aún así, a veces intento hablar en los dos idiomas por si alguien más se mete, así que, bueno, lo puedo explicar igualmente. Y eso, lo que voy a explicar básicamente va a ser cómo me vienen las ideas de la composición, cómo lo suelo hacer, ya que no es inspiración de la nada. Obviamente es un poco un proceso que practicas. Y voy a hacer pues el bocetillo, así que os voy a contar un poquito cómo lo hago. Si tenéis alguna pregunta, yo siempre estoy disponible a responder cosillas. Así que vamos a ver. So first of all, I'm going to show you some of the inspiration that I got from Arcane. I really got a lot of inspiration from these scenes that are a bit Art Nouveau-like. And I'm going to show you... ¡Ay, qué bien! Pues te veré por ahí. Si te apetece pasarte por mi puesto, estaré en un no comercial. Aún no sé el numerillo. Pero si me sigues por ahí lo voy a publicar en redes sociales. Así que seguramente lo verás si te apetece ver algunas cositas de mi puesto. ¿Vas como invitada o sea, como invitada, como público o como... No me sale, como artista? Estoy un poco espesa. Es la hora del café. Vale, pues eso, aún no sabemos los nombres de los stands, los numeritos de los stands nos lo tienen que dar, pero eso, lo publicaré por redes sociales si te interesa pasarte a verme. A ver. Vale, esta es una de mis escenas favoritas. Os la quería enseñar para que veáis por el rollo en el que me estoy inspirando para hacer este fanart. So this is one of my favorite scenes from the show. I love the Art Nouveau vibes and I loved it. Every time I saw a scene with Art Nouveau on it, I had to pause and I was like, oh my god, I love it. This is one of my favorite scenes and I would love to do a study of it, just a study. But that I won't use for fan art and I won't sell, obviously. I just don't feel it's right. That's mostly for study purposes. So I'm probably going to do a study of this scene because I love it. I just love Art Nouveau. But you know, I just want to show you the style I'm loving as for inspiration. So another one that I loved was this. And this one was actually sort of linked with the initial intro of Arcane, which is sort of a disc with the both faces of the sisters. And ever since I saw that in the first episode, I thought, I like this. I would love to do something like this. But I didn't know anything about Arcane yet, so I wanted to see the show first and then do the composition. So, after seeing and searching for so many pictures and debating whether I should draw Jinx or Vi or who I should draw, I've decided to do a composition with both. And I took some notes about how to do it, but I ended up going back to these two scenes, and especially this one. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So initially I had a few ideas. One of them was putting half face from Vi and Jinx. Another one was to do sort of a composition with both, one in the front, one in the back, sort of a background. But nothing was convincing me, and you can see that I have some notes here. Another one was to put them profile with profile, but one of my main problems with that was that I will cut half of the face that I liked to draw. So, in fact, I would love to draw the full face of both of them. So that was a bit of a problem. And then I saw, as I said, the images that I showed you before, which is this one, and I decided to copy a bit. So we artists, we do copy. It's just normal, it's just something we do. And I'm not gonna obviously copy exactly the scene. As I said before, this is a combination of several ideas. And what I'm gonna do is substitute these two girls from these ones to Vi and Jinx. What I'm gonna use from these images is the shape of this circle as I had sketched out before. Because I do like how this creates these lines and so, because it reminds me of Art Nouveau paintings. And yeah, I'm probably gonna use the leaves, not exactly as they are here. And then also yesterday, as I just to grab inspiration, I decided to trace a bit the shapes of the girls and, you know, figure out where the limbs are, as you can see over here. Sorry, my voice is cracking. So once I did this, I actually started coming up with ideas. So, for example, there's some sort of cloudy shapes here, and I thought, well, I could do. Jinx has these cloud tattoos on her arm, so I'm gonna try and use that as a sort of background here. I'll try to think about other details below that I can add there too, to add to that. But now, the problem is, these are two little girls, and I don't want to draw them as little girls. So obviously I'm not going to copy this as it is, as I said before. So what I've decided to do is just grab the pose that they are in, because I actually like it. I'm going to change a few things, like for example, I wanted to try and see if I could make them reaching for each other. So their arms wouldn't be exactly like this, but sort of like reaching one for the other. And in here, I'm sort of thinking about whether to keep the circle or not. I really like the idea of it being sort of a disc, but it sort of messes with my composition. So I'm gonna decide that after I do a couple of sketches and switch a few things. But then I want to show you a very interesting tool that I found the other day that I'm gonna use for drawing the poses. So I have it. Let me look for it. Okay. So I use this app that I found via TikTok the other day. And it's basically a free app. You don't have to pay for anything. It already comes with a few free models, and you can pose them in any pose you like. Obviously, it has some restrictions, but it's still pretty good. And you can place the lightning as you wanted and use it like this. And I really, really like this. I really didn't believe that this was free and so easy to use. So I wanted to show it to you. And as you can see, I sort of mimicked this pose. Oops, sorry, that's the other pose. This pose over here, but with a grown-up body. So that's gonna be Vi. I'm gonna sort of mash it up with this and put it over there. And then I did the other pose, which will be Jinx. And I'm gonna put it over here. So, ahora os lo cuento en español rápidamente. Sobre todo lo último porque creo que os puede interesar, ya que lo encontré por TikTok, pero bueno, era sobre todo un tip en inglés. Bueno, básicamente os estaba contando que voy a hacer la composición inspirada en este círculo, pero obviamente no me voy a copiar, voy a tomar ciertas cosas de ello y ciertas otras cosas no. Voy a cambiar las niñas por Jinx y Vi, pero en adultas. Y voy a tomar algunas cosas de la composición, pero otras que no. Voy a tomar la forma del círculo y probablemente las hojitas, pero luego tengo otros detalles pensados como añadir las nubes de fondo que sean los tatuajes de Jinx, y voy a pensar algunos otros detalles. Y es lo que os quería enseñar aquí, que estaba enseñando ahora mismo, es esta app que es gratis, al menos para Android, no estoy segura si para otros también. Perdón, esto de estar con dos pantallas, a ver dónde tengo las cosas. Aquí. Y básicamente se llama Magic Poser, la puedes descargar, viene con unos cuantos modelos gratis y puedes... Un segundo, estaba bajando la música, me estoy volviendo un poco loca. Y puedes posarlos como tú quieras. Está muy bien porque encima puedes elegir por dónde les viene la luz y todo eso, y me parece muy buena idea. Encima es gratis, tiene varios modelos gratis que realmente no necesitas casi más porque tiene, creo que 2 cuerpos de mujer normales y 2 cuerpos de mujer un cuerpo de mujer estilizados estilo anime. Realmente no necesitarías ni el de estilo anime porque podrías basarte en este para hacer cualquier cosa. Pero bueno, y lo mismo con hombres. Creo que trae 2 de cuerpo normal, realista, y luego uno de estilo anime. Que igual es que es lo que realmente no necesitas, es básicamente para ver la pose y ver las sombras y todo eso, así que no necesitarías tanto detalle. Pero me parece que viene muy bien, y puedes comprar modelos extras en caso que los necesites, que yo creo que si te viene bien la app seguramente no sea una mala inversión. Así que voy a usar estas poses que ya he programado, estuve un rato jugando con ella, era la primera vez que la usaba, me la había descargado y no la había usado aún, porque aún no había tenido que hacer nada de cuerpo completo en poses raras, realmente la mayoría de las veces improviso, pero ahora prefería hacer algo así. Encima van a tener ropa complicada encima y tal, así que prefiero tener la pose un poco mejor y un poco clara. Y pues eso, voy a usar estas referencias para añadirlas al circulillo, más o menos, no voy a calcarlo tal cual, que de hecho creo que voy a inclinar un poco más los cuerpos para que hagan la forma del círculo. Tal vez voy a hacer el círculo ligeramente más grande para que quepan mejor también, o sea que haya más hueco en medio. Y eso, voy a jugar un poco con la composición y os lo voy a enseñar y vamos a empezar. Voy a mover esto a la otra pantalla. Y os he dejado el nombre de la app en los comentarios, creo al principio del chat. Sí, ahí al principio del chat está, por si se me olvidaba, al final me he acordado, pero por si se me olvidaba el nombre. Okay, I'm going to start drawing now. I need to play a bit with this composition till I get it right, but I think I'm going to play with it in a different sheet. So this is sort of a sheet of paper that I take as my sketchbook. And I always have this sort of digital sketchbook. In fact, I keep like the pages over here, so I can doodle here and just keep it as a separate thing. As you can see, all the fan art that I've done so far I sort of sketched out here. This is the Squid Game painting that I did in the last streams, and you know, Hollow Knights and Nezuko over there. So yeah, it's just sort of a digital sketchbook. When I'm planning on doing prints, I try to work on an A3 at least. Now, this composition is gonna be a bit more squared, so I'm not sure if I should open an A3 or just modify it a bit. If I'm not sure, I go at least to the pixel rate over here and I try to simulate it with a new composition. So I can be sure that when I print it in an A4 and an A6 and all of that, it still looks good. So if you do it in an A3, it's gonna look good in any size basically, because you probably are not gonna print it bigger than an A3, really. In a normal situation at least. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do 5 by 5. I'd rather go big than go too low. So I always work with a base color. I don't like to work on a white canvas. People recommend a gray, a sort of middle point gray. I don't like working with gray, so I'd rather go with a sort of other tone. And now, just for the sake of, because I'm using this image, I'm gonna grab sort of a grayish tone over here. Not sure which one. Okay, this is way too bright. Now, for the sake of not relying as much in this composition, I'm gonna sort of take it off and just rely on the sketch inside. That's a good trick if you don't want to do something that is way too similar to your inspiration. It's just, it's good to take inspiration, but you don't want to copy paste everything. I might still open it from time to time and just quickly double check, you know, but I'm not gonna have it open there so I can copy everything, just because then I will sort of feel compelled to, you know, copy everything, and yeah, that's not what I want. That's just inspiration. As I'm gonna sort of roughly sketch it, I usually zoom out. I don't want to add too more detail, and if I'm way too close, you sort of tend to do much more detail than you are intended to. I'm gonna close this over here. Okay, let's quickly sketch out the figure. we're gonna start with this one. I don't know if I can. No. Don't take my advice as if I was a professional, but when I usually work on a pose, I start by sketching the head and then a line where the column will be. That usually helps you set up everything else. So now I will add a little line that sort of indicates the shoulders, like this. And then a line that indicates the hips. So in this pose, it's like this. I don't know if it will help you better if I pasted the image over here. Maybe that's better. Let me do that. Okay, there. Okay, so as you can see, this is in a sort of angle, and this too. So you can see the shape that I'm talking about over here. I'm curling her a bit more because of what I said, that I want to use the shape. But yeah, then I use sort of this shape to make the front body, the top body, sorry, and the same sort of shape for the bottom of the body, like this. Important to save the document. A little trick to know where to place the elbows is usually trace a line like this over where the hip is. The elbows will always coincide with this part of the body. There. No matter what angle they are, they always coincide with it. And if it will be straight, it will be over here. When I erase that, or soon I won't be able to watch what I'm drawing. I think this needs to be a bit shorter. Oops. I don't draw too much for shortening, so I hope I don't mess it up over here. But just to be honest, this app is really helpful. Because it's really, really hard to find references that are perfect and work exactly the way you want them to. By the way, this head is way too big. There. Okay, I think that's more or less it. The size is not bad. Not sure if I want to... Okay, let's move on to the other pose. Okay, the pose was cutting a bit too much of my drawing, so I wanted to still be able to see where it is. As you can see, the trick still works over here. She's in an angle like sort of turning backwards, so this will be sort of like this. I don't know, my mind sort of sees where the elbow is, so I think it makes sense. Hopefully it does. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like drawing that hand too much, but we'll see. The pose of the hands, though, I might change, so they're not set in stone. I'm mostly worried about the body. I always tend to draw the head a bit larger than it should be. Okay. For some reason, it's a bit more confusing to me to draw the body on this way, but we'll make do. Oops, that wasn't the one I was meant to erase. There. Okay. Let's see where I will place her now. I also like this composition because it also reflects a bit of the position of the two sisters in a way. So sort of Vi is sort of getting out of jail and getting back her life, so it's sort of going up. And Jinx is really falling down in a sort of depression, craziness hole, especially after, the events of the last chapters. And yeah, I don't know, it's sort of poetic as well. It reflects really well the relationship between the sisters, and Vi is trying to reach to her, and Jinx in a way is trying to reach to her sister as well, but they don't really see eye to eye. So I think it's I don't know. I like this idea. I think that it can turn out really well. Okay, what I'm gonna do now, I already have the poses, I already have more or less the composition and what I want on it. The details come later, so it's much more important to have an idea than the rest of the details. So I think I'm gonna flesh out the details a bit and see what else I want to add. I'm gonna sort of improve the shapes of the bodies so they are a bit more realistic and they look better, and yeah, just get to work on that. And I think I'm going to make this circle slightly larger as well. Ok, pues ahora que tengo más o menos las poses y la situación bajo control, voy a empezar a limpiar un poquito. Los detalles normalmente los añado más tarde, sobre todo porque ahora mismo quiero tener esta parte un poquito más limpia, y las figuras también, que ahora mismo están muy básicas, básicamente. Así que voy a limpiarlo un pelín y continuamos ya limpiando el boceto. Es importante que trabajemos bien el boceto porque luego cuesta mucho más añadir ciertos detalles. Voy a empezar por hacer un círculo yo con la línea, como este. So that more or less is the shapes done. I'm gonna, now that I have this, I'm gonna sort of quickly reposition them again. You will go through a lot of little changes and iterations when you're doing something like this. It's better to do it now than to do it later. Okay, now that we have this, I'm gonna go over the bodies. They need to be a bit more detailed now. I think it's time. I'm gonna go open back my body poses just to make sure that I don't do anything weird. I'm still going over it with a pretty big brush because it's not like I'm detailing everything right now. There's still a lot of things to add at the moment. Okay, so this is the line for the nose and the eyes over here. Mouth will be around there. This is the shape of the skull. I want her to look much more down than the initial body shape it had. So I'm putting her shoulder a bit higher up as well. In the scene is a bit lower and the face is looking a bit higher, but I'm gonna do it like this. Just modify reference on your own, you know, if you know what you're doing in list. I really don't need to know that much to modify the references a bit and make them more look like they should. So this arm is a bit foreshortened, so I'm gonna change the position a bit. I think I'm gonna make her sort of doing a fist. I'm still not sure exactly how, but not exactly extending the hand, but more like putting a little bit of a fist. I'm making the hand up now, so just more or less. The arm is a bit more extended than in the pose as well, so I'm not gonna flex this bit as much. Felt like I made her torso a bit too small, so I enlarged it a bit. I'm starting to wonder if this pose is a bit way too complicated. I'm hoping it won't be. I'm not sure about the face, and I'm not sure if it's because it doesn't have hair obviously now, so it's gonna look odd. It doesn't really have anything, but okay. Now we will need to dress her a bit, but it's mostly done. I think I'm gonna turn the canvas to Jinx now. They really have very similar poses, just changing the angle, so it shouldn't be hard. I need to take into account that Jinx seems to be thinner, like sort of, they gave her a thinner body, even though she's strong and such, because she seems to be a teenager. So I'm just gonna make her a little bit thinner than how I initially draw her. There's some foreshortening in this arm in the reference I got, but I really don't see any foreshortening here. Like, she shouldn't be foreshortening the arm. It wouldn't be going down, it will, like in, it will be going this way. So I'm gonna ignore that as a reference. There. Okay. Now her other arm, I'm thinking I'm gonna lower a bit more. Just sort of like this. And maybe going in, so we don't see it. It's not because I don't want to draw it, it's mostly because, like, you could do this if you didn't want to. Not always, but you know, if you see that the arm is in a position that's weird and it will affect the composition and you don't like it there, just put it in a way that you don't see it. You shouldn't rely on doing that because you should learn to do your arms and your hands, but it's still a solution. For example, here in this position, I didn't like it. I didn't think it added anything to the composition, and I thought, I'm thinking too that Jinx will look better the more curled up she is, like in sort of childlike state, and I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it fits more her personality. So this arm is gonna go there. Besides, we will have the braids around here, so it's another thing that is sort of, you know, bothering us. Also, I didn't draw the head over here, but she's looking a bit more than the previous one. Again, she's a lot thinner in general. Taking a quick look at some reference pictures. Most of them are from the game that doesn't really have the same anatomy, really. Like, she looks a bit more childlike in the show, but still helps me a bit. She's much thinner, so her legs should be thinner. For some reason, this is very low in this reference image. So it's the same that this one was very short, this one is a bit low. So I'm gonna pull it up a bit. That looks a bit better. I don't like this. I'm gonna turn the leg a bit more. Okay, I think that looks better for me. I think I'm gonna straighten out this leg for this body. Because all the foreshortening is making her look very short. Okay, I feel like I like it better this way. Now that we have this, I'm going to turn off the sketch layer. And over this, I'm going to quickly erase this. gonna combine the layers and I'm gonna work over this for the final composition. I'm gonna pull it back a bit and let me quickly look at my references and my images of the show. Nope. I'm just looking on Pinterest, by the way. I saved a few images that I liked, and I'm just looking at that. Right now I'm looking at... I'm gonna quickly Google Jinx's tattoos. Let's see. Okay, so I'm seeing, let me do it like in a quick, with a bigger brush and with a quick way. Yeah. So I'm seeing shapes like this, sort of a quick circle. These clouds are so odd. They remind me of something. I don't know. I've seen them before. Do you guys know where it is from? Okay, most of them seem to have a similar shape to this. They're just slightly varied, you know, like the same, but maybe this curve over here is a bit more like this. So this over here turns a bit more like this. It's like sort of stylized in a way. And then like this. Okay, I'm gonna use this and put them over to the drawing. I'm gonna turn the opacity down. I think I'm gonna put them in a different layer. Make them disappear for now. I feel like having a cloud like this over her head will look good. Maybe this one instead. Oops. Not in this layer. You dummy. Okay, I like this position. I'm gonna keep her there. I don't know what I'm gonna put this one though. Maybe... yeah. keep her over Jinx's side. Whoops. I don't even know where they are anymore. I'm gonna make this one bigger and just like over here like this. I'm gonna redraw this one in a second. So I like this one, I like this one, we'll combine them. I'm just gonna turn the opacity down so they're not so visible. And I'm gonna draw over this one to make it bigger. So I'm thinking it goes over to here, you know? So I'm just gonna draw the curl over here. We don't really see any more of this side. We see it go under over there. This side goes over Jinx. Turns in, we don't really see. We can see the like the big curl over here maybe. Like this. And then yeah, just finishes over there. And we don't see it. I'm gonna erase this one. And I'm just gonna quickly erase these lines. I should make my eraser bigger. There. Okay, I'm looking for Jinx, for Vi now. Sorry, I mixed up my words. I meant Vi, sorry, by the way. My Spanish gets out of the way. Okay, so I'm seeing that I'm seeing sort of some close-ups on her tattoos. The one on her neck. I'm probably gonna draw that over here, right? No, because it's on the other side. I'm trying to get a close-up on the neck tattoo, and I can't see it. Where are you, neck tattoo? I'm gonna try to search for it. Come on, trusty Pinterest. Guide me a bit. We artists need a lot of reference for little things, and a lot of times it's just really hard to find everything. Oh, okay. I think I found sort of a guide of someone that made temporary tattoos. And I found the shape that she has on her neck. Okay. I'm gonna do the same as before and just draw the shapes over here. This one is a bit more complicated. I'm thinking I'm just gonna draw the outside. So it's some sort of mechanism. And it has a little shape like this. I'm gonna simplify it. I really just want something for the background, so it's not like I need that many details. Okay, so it's not exactly like this. I don't think it matters because it's gonna be in the background. I'm just gonna clean it up a bit. Still just a sketch, but I'll clean it up so it looks a bit clearer over there. I don't have a pulse right now. I actually think that it looks better a bit rough. A bit more casual, you know. And just as I did before, I'm going to place it over here, sort of as a background for her. I think it would be better if this doesn't coincide with her hand. I'm just gonna lower it like this. Nobody's gonna know, right? Okay, and just as the same as before, I'm just gonna erase the lines that bother me, that cover the body. I'm also thinking about adding some of Jinx's icons over here, or maybe on the sides as here, like was here, something like that. But I think that's going to be sort of a last touch, so I don't really need to sketch it. Okay. It feels like it gets really long when I stream for over an hour and and a bit more, and it's already been almost an hour and 20 minutes. I think I'm gonna stop here. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about keep adding details over this, but maybe I should just go and do other things and maybe stream when I'm adding the details. I don't know if it's not really that interesting to see me do this process, or if it will be more interesting if I was doing line art or something more active. This is a bit more of thought process and all of that. So maybe I'll just finish it a bit more and stream when I can do the line art, in a few days. I don't know if it's going to be this weekend, maybe Monday, and I think I will leave it here and just do other things for now. I'll try to finish that part over the weekend and see if I can stream then next week. I'm just sort of trying to make my own schedule in my head. But yeah, thank you so much for anyone who was watching or was watching a bit. As always, I'll keep the stream up. I'll upload them to YouTube eventually, and stay tuned to my Instagram if you want to know when I'm gonna stream, because I posted there. I still don't have a schedule, as I said. I've been trying. I'm gonna try to stream at least a couple of times a week if I can. But yeah, I don't know exactly when. Last week was on Tuesday and Thursday, I believe. This week was on Monday and Friday. So as you can see, there's not really a schedule there. I hope you enjoyed sort of seeing this. I know it's a bit of a different thing. Like, I know a lot of people don't stream really their thought process, don't show their thought process that much. And I guess it's just because I feel like it's boring. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, I hope that this brought light to some parts of maybe drawing that you don't usually see online. And yeah, so I'm saying goodbye now. I get entertained. I'll see you on the next time. Bye.